Hey everybody, how's it going? So anyway, I'm also recording this video because what I do is I provide the video that I do with Bill Borden. I have to admit it's something I do every year or so. Maybe not necessarily every semester, but so please watch that. That's essentially probably first priority, of course, because that has the new assignment and a lesson and everything else in it. So um, and we are moving into the again, so I think I discussed in the other video, into the more of the reporting end of things. But I wanted to use this as an opportunity because in a week you'll have the rewrite for your COVID mask lifting update, order update, sorry, reaction story due. Okay. And I want to make sure that you guys saw the sample I sent around. I actually liked what I've seen so far from you guys. But, just some things to really kind of keep in mind here. As you're doing a story, I mean, you're doing a story now that just doesn't involve one person, obviously, you're involving multiple perspectives. So, it's going to, come down, it could come down different ways based on what we've had so far. As you know, we have a discussion point, and I appreciate, and if you haven't contributed yet, please do. Remember, that's part of your class participation grade. Um, People, you can use all the information from there if you want. You can go out on your own and get your own quotes. You can mix them together with the people from the discussion point and maybe people, whatever. It's up to you. But what I just really want is something that is, again, accurate, clear, and focused. Okay. And what I'm trying to do with this story is actually kind of as we kind of transition more into the reporting, and we're emphasizing the reporting end of things. I want to make sure that actually we really like do that, do a little more reporting than we've been doing. So let me share the screen here. Um, and This is the story I sent around, and it was done by one of our class members. Very well, very good. I mean, there's some things in here that probably could like, use a little more fixing, but it had the basic essentials that it wanted. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a lead like this, straight. I mean, you could have. I've said to people you can maybe even add on a little bit if it's a mixed feeling. Is a saying some or some with some saying the order went too far, and others saying it's still necessary, perhaps. Okay. It's not. It's a good idea. To maybe try to provide as much information as you possibly can in the lead, but at the same time, trying to keep it economical and to the point as possible. Okay. Um, Now, with this, what you have to really keep in mind is that you don't want to again. There's a temptation is to really start to go into background right here and to really explain everything that's happened with COVID or the mask mandate or whatever. But you don't have to do that because this part right here is all the background you need. At least the first, I would say, 2/3 to 4/5 of the story. I mean, if you want to put any background in the story, it goes at the bottom. But by just basically saying lift mask mandate, you're basically reporting what has happened in the past. But what this story is about the reaction. Okay. So so you have your lead. Okay. And then you have your first transition right here. Okay. That basically breaks the lead into smaller parts. Um, One of the last, okay, so it's one of the last places to lift the mask mandate, if not the last place. But most students are express relief and happiness. I should always say, most students have expressed relief and happiness regarding this decision. Okay. So I mean, we have a kind of like a general transition, but like basically we're kind of breaking. We have mixed feelings up here, and we break things down to smaller parts. And one of those smaller parts is the students who are happy about it. Okay, and then we get into an anecdote right here. Okay, where again we have the story within the story. This is where where the real reporting comes in. Sapper Levenhar, I think is how you say this. It's actually not somebody actually. What he did is he mixed this particular author mixed things together. He actually used somebody from the discussion points and his own sources. So Virginia School said that he is happy that no masks are no longer needed. She said that vaccinations are necessary. It was time for the mandate to be lifted, and that she has been waiting for this moment for a while. Okay, so it's good to have. We were trying to get people's opinions on this whole thing. What I'm trying to do is try to push people to go a little further and maybe like not just have their opinions, but their own personal. The people in the story talk about their own personal experiences with this, observations, this sort of thing. That's where the real reporting comes in, where you can really feel like you can relate to the people being quoted and the people talking in the story and that sort of thing. Um, so what I'm looking for is basically like, okay, we'll ask them how they really feel, like what it's like to like walk into a classroom or something like that, or like even maybe if they're doing school remote, the thought of walking into a school, I'm sorry, a classroom without, and seeing a bunch of people without masks on, what that's like. Does it make them feel free? Does it make them feel like sick? Does it make them feel like they're going to get it sick? That kind of goes beyond. It's like the real reporting, the real on the ground reporting that I'm really trying to push people for. So we have more of an anecdote here that actually goes into that area. 11 Horror expresses no anxiety or stress regarding entering a classroom without a mask. Returning the COVID mask is something she's excited, or he's excited about. Or she said, I'm sorry. So so I get a feeling of not just how she feels, but also basically like what it's like to be like maybe next to her and the reaction she has when she walks into the classroom. Okay, and we got more anecdotal information right here. Emily Griffin, another student university, sports decision, but believes that timing is incorrect. And then I think with Struble, we got people who are basically not so happy about this. Struble expresses relief about not wearing a mask, but also worried about how it accommodates cis students. Said that none of his classes are recorded, thus in-person attendance is mandatory. So we have another transition right here. Okay, and then we have more anecdotal information right here, and his opinion actually is mixed. He's actually happy about the lifting of it, but at the same time, he feels like things are still a little like not quite ready for it. So this is kind of like being in the classroom with him and what he sees and what he maybe feels is not quite right. Okay, then we got other students say it's a risk to their health. She feels, Talia James, I'm sorry, says she feels nervous entering a classroom when everyone's on a mask. We'll continue to wear a face covering. So again, we get the feeling of what it's like to be with Natalia as she deals with this experience. Okay. And then basically the story just kind of ends with a quote. There's no need for a conclusion. We made our conclusion in the very first graph, essentially, which was the lead. And that's all we needed. So, all right. So that's really how you should go about attacking that story. We do have, again, the first draft of that story, again, is due on Monday when you'll first see this video. But now we're going to have the 2 weeks, we're going to have the megalomania assignment due. Okay. So that will be due on the 24th, right? Yeah. So, all right. So if you have any questions regarding that, please let me know, as I say in the other video. And that's really it. Thanks very much, guys. And I'll be talking to you.